It is May 5th, 2025, and this is Hungover Hand, right? Chad Hobrink. I'm Jonathan Sawyer.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. Man, had a lot of events this weekend, Chad.
We did. It was kind of jam-packed there with some stuff.
Did you watch any of them?
Obviously, UFC, that fight night. We did watch with some buddies. I didn't catch all of the fights. I actually stepped in, and it took, for some reason, couldn't get ESPN, shocker, going. And I jumped in about halfway through the second round of the Jeremy Stevens fight.
Okay.
Which was fun to watch. They were beating the hell out of each other.
That was a crazy one.
Yeah, they were beating the fuck out of each other. But it was cool seeing Jeremy back. But that card was fun. I watched some obviously shocking losses in there with old Bo Nickel.
Yeah.
Who I even texted you as soon as it happened.
Yeah, that's okay. Another thing when we'll talk about this card. Well, actually, I'm gonna save it. We're gonna talk about that card. Obviously, I watched some of the other events that we'll talk about quickly, but I had to catch up on a lot of them today.
Yeah,
and I didn't get to all of them, to be honest with you. But we'll go through them regardless. The important parts of them. Got some news. Not a ton of like real big fights. Kind of a lot of like weird stuff, and then it's not in a particular order. A lot of it, just a lot of random stuff. And then we're obviously going to talk about UFC 315, the big one.
It's a big one.
Or a big one. It got a lot less fun yesterday.
Yeah.
At the time of recording. We'll talk about that. And then I'll leave you out with a few other events this coming weekend that you're probably not going to watch because it's not a UFC pay-per-view. So, okay. Let's talk about this UFC Des Moines card. Apparently sold out there in Des Moines. And by the way, the ref, I know he reffed the first fight and like the third fight. Maybe did another one later. I don't know. Local guy, cannot remember his name. He, according to Brendan Fitzgerald, was in the co-main event and won in Des Moines at UFC 26.
Really?
Which would have been, I didn't look it up, but that would have been a long time ago. And that was apparently that was the last time they were there, I believe, is what they said. But his name was like, I don't know, I'm sure I could find it, but he was where is it? Tyrone Roberts. They said he won in the co-main event at UFC 26 in Des Moines.
Huh.
Never heard of him, but yeah, sold out there in Des Moines. Back-to-back weekends in the Midwest, which is interesting. And we're going to go through some of the fights. I mean, Juliana Miller won. I think she sucks. She won. Good for her. Thomas Peterson, I didn't really catch a lot of this one, but apparently 30-25 on one card for this one. So, Minnesota University wrestler wrestled, believe it or not.
Shocker.
Gaston Bolanos.
Yeah.
Got put to sleep. Face down on the mat.
Snoring. I did see the replay of that.
This Kwong Lee guy, I think he's 1-2 in the UFC now, but he's actually pretty solid.
Yeah.
Bolaños, pretty slow, pretty no feints, not a lot of speed. Kind of, I don't know, tough loss for him. Jillian Robertson just took her down.
Did her thing, man.
And then Marina Rodriguez retires.
I did not see that part.
No, she retired.
Oh, shit.
She's
All
like
right.
36, 37. She retired. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, decent career. Like, she was like in the top 10 for a while. 7-6-2 in the UFC, but has fought.
Oh, wow.
Jillian, Andrade, Berna, Amanda Lemos.
She lost 5 of her last 6.
Yeah, that's true. Tough girls, though.
Yeah.
She just couldn't. She's never been able to grapple.
No.
Or keep it off the mat. Yeah, she retires. Jill calls out Amanda Lemos. She wants to fight Amanda Lemos next, so I'm sure that'll happen because Lemos is kind of not. I don't think they got big plans for her anytime soon.
Probably not.
Azamat Bikoyev. This dude slept Zach Reese in his short notice debut.
Mm-hmm.
and just put it all over Ryan Loder.
That poor bastard.
Loder. I mean, he didn't seem to care about the D1 wrestling at all. He wasn't worried about it. He let the hands go.
Yeah.
Miesha Tate lost again. Yana just ran around and just touch and go. Miesha, I don't know. I don't know what she's doing in there anymore. Her game is so movie and flowy and range and footwork, yet she gets hit all like it's too much. It's really like what how's this ever working for you?
Yeah, I think it just call it. Just be done with it. Just right off in the sunset. You're pioneer of the sport. Just go. Just leave.
I mean, Yana has been solid, depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
But I just don't think you can get beat up by her.
Yeah.
And
you're not going to go fight for a title anytime soon, ever again. So just see you later.
Yeah. Mason Jones and Jeremy Stevens, it looked like Mason Jones was going to mess him up pretty bad early. And then Jeremy just kind of did what he does.
Yeah, he was a dog in it. From what I saw, like I think 2 minutes in to the second round, and I was like, they look like they've already. I was like, it's only in the second round. They look like they've been through 5-round war.
They were slugging.
Yeah, and then Mason just kept getting takedowns towards the end, sealing it off, and ground and pound. Jeremy was still. I mean, Mason's just tough. He just kept coming through, wearing everything Jeremy was throwing at him. But that was a fun fight. That was.
I think Mason was feeling like early, like, okay, I'm hitting this guy clean a lot. I'm going to get him out of here. And then I think about halfway through the fight, he's like, okay, I'm not getting him out of here. Yeah. I'm starting to get a little tired. He's not going anywhere. And then he put the wrestling on him.
By the end of the second round, I was like, okay, Jeremy might win this because Mason looks gassed.
Yeah.
But he found a second gear and kept putting it on him.
He's good. I'm glad he's back. I don't think he should have got cut to begin with. And then he's 16-2 now. He went over to Cage Warriors and whooped everybody over there, came back. Them bringing Stevens back is so weird.
Yeah.
It's like, I think that was just like, okay, everyone in 2025 is getting hurt on every card. So let's just make sure we got a hometown guy in Des Moines ready.
I wonder if he's regretting that whole bet on yourself kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think BKFC probably would have put quite a bit more money in his pocket if he were to stick around over there. But Sergey City kind of just outpoints Cameron Smotherman. I really like Cameron Smotherman. I think he's actually good.
Mm-hmm.
I think City, clearly, he looked a little bit better. But Smotherman, I think that was like his second UFC fight. He won his first one against Bolaños, actually.
Yeah.
He beat Hadley. That's right. Yeah, Hadley. Yeah, he won one in the UFC. I like him. I think he's good. He trains with Adrian Yanez.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a good boxer, like technical boxer, not flashy, but really can just get it done.
Yeah, he was getting frustrated with the way City was moving.
Yeah,
he was trying to counter him and everything, and you could see it on his face. He's like, "Fuck, I can't get a hold of this guy."
Yeah, and which is weird because City's been in some wars where he's gotten hit a lot. So it's like surprising that he was kind of the touch and move outside guy, but. Montel Jackson's really good. Daniel Marcos 17-0 coming into this, and Montel just beat him everywhere, kind of. I mean,
in the clinch, especially early on, he was quick with those like inside trips.
Yeah,
and he would just slam. And Marcos, he was getting frustrated. It was a good fight. I know Marcos. I laughed. He was undefeated going in, and he thought he won the fight. And as soon as they announced, I was like, there's no way you didn't win this fight.
No.
But as soon as he lost, he just walks out of the cage just instantly. It's almost like he just was like, fuck this. I'm so pissed off he left. Which I get it. You lost. But it was, I don't know. It just kind of gave me a chuckle because of his reaction.
I think these, especially 17-0, you're that O means a lot to these guys. And then when they lose it, we've seen plenty of times where they're like, all right, now I'm going to smash everybody.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about the O anymore. I think they're both good. Marcos wrestling was kind of surprising to me. Obviously, I get it because he was losing on the feet, but it's just a weird look for a guy that is a striker.
Yeah.
But he did take him down a few
He
times.
was having success with it, but Montel, I think, was just the better athlete, stronger. He reversed him several times.
Montel Jackson, people need to watch out for this guy. I mean, he's ranked 15 with it. With this, they haven't updated the rankings yet. After this, he's probably not moving, or especially because Eamon Zahabi's fighting this weekend. But I like Montel Jackson against a few of these guys above him. Eamon Zahabi for sure.
Yeah.
Kyler Phillips, I think maybe Montel could beat him. Aldo, I don't know.
That'd be a big jump.
It's a tough weight class, but I think Montel's really good.
Yeah, he's going to be around a while. He looked good. I was impressed with it.
Yeah. D-Rod knocks out Pons.
D-Rod was looking up. I mean, he was coming for somebody's fucking head.
Yeah.
And got it.
And again, Pons complaining about the stoppage again.
Yeah, I don't understand it, dude. You weren't there. You had no idea what the fuck was going on. It hit you flush. You didn't even see the punch coming.
He got him complaining and was like falling.
Oh yeah, he went head first in the cage.
Yeah,
it was bad. I remember after I was explaining to some guys who had no idea who they were, and I was like, Pons, just hang it up, man. Go to the broadcast, the Spanish broadcast, and just stick there. You got what you're, a job outside of the UFC. Don't fight anymore. Just be done.
He just, I don't know, man. If D-Rod looks really fast compared to you, that's bad.
Yeah, it's a problem.
That's bad.
But D-Rod looked mean. They were like, why does this guy just look like he was in prison for 30 years and just got out? I'm like, that's D-Rod, man.
Yeah. How old is he now? 38. Yeah. No, I mean, he's going to be in there with, like, good fighters. Like, he's going to be able to hang with them. I don't know what the ceiling is, but,
yeah,
obviously a guy like Pons, he can knock out. Raynard Ritter said, screw your D1 wrestling. I'm going to just walk right into the clinch.
Yeah.
And knee you to death.
This was, like I was saying to you earlier, I texted you and I thought something was wrong with Bo. Like, he looked like dog shit.
Those knees.
Yeah, those knees were, credit to DeRitter. He was, punishing him. Bo got the takedown and then jumped a guillotine like an idiot.
Yeah.
That was stupid. And that just tells you he's young in the sport. What, you're on the dominant position. Yes, you had his head, but I'm going to jump to my back against a guy who was a former champ, who's good on the ground, who's longer than you.
He just submitted Kevin Holland.
Yeah, just submitted Kevin Holland.
Don't give him top position.
Yeah.
Now, Bo probably could have just rode top position. I know you probably don't want to play around down there with him too much, but it's like, man, you can just top game this guy.
Yeah, He and the thing is, when he got him on his back, Bo had, I kept saying, watch it, don't leave yourself open, and Reiner tried to set up an armbar. Bo quickly got out of it. It's almost like he expected it. That was the game plan. Okay, we'll ride top, and he was throwing elbows. He was trying to punish him, and I'm like, okay, this is your game, Bo. Stick there, ride it out, and just stay away from opening yourself up to submissions. But then he jumped a guillotine.
I think,
and it was downhill from there.
I bet part of that is like he's got a lot of pressure on him just from being a talked about guy.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I got to start finishing people. Like, I'm hyped up. I think he's the luster even before this. People are, I think the noise is getting a little quieter on him just because he's been around for longer now. But I think he's probably like feeling like, okay, I'm kind of a big deal.
Yeah. So
I better finish people. Mm-hmm. And he got a little excited.
Yeah. He just did not look comfortable at all on the feet. It looked like he was like first day of striking. It looked really bad, like turning his head, like anytime a punch came, like it was shying away.
He's another guy that he kind of bounces in there with the strikes too. Like he has a big tell on the way in sometimes.
Yeah, it was just
DeRitter is like he's one of these guys that just nothing makes sense.
Yeah,
about how he just does this shit. It's crazy, and he's starting to beat better guys more dominantly each time.
Mm-hmm.
He had a tough one with Gerald Mearshart. finishes Bo Nickel, and who did he finish before that?
Kevin Holland. Yeah.
First round, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. He's kind of making a believer out of me. He's kind of got like Drickus vibes. going.
Yes. Yeah,
Oh.
he does. It's kind of like a rumble and stumble kind of drunken fist way.
Again, and we'll move on, but I think the most impressive part of this is he just did not care about the wrestling.
Yeah.
He walked right in there and clinched up with him.
Yeah. And at the end, he said, that was your American or best American wrestler. Now give me your best American striker.
That's probably a better matchup.
Yeah. I was just like, holy shit.
Did he say who? I didn't.
I couldn't. He said something afterwards, but I don't know if it was like, let's fucking go, or I don't think he called a specific name.
Right.
But I couldn't tell.
I don't even know who that would be. Oh, Strickland?
Maybe.
I think I saw something about him wanting Strickland, but that's a huge jump.
Oh yeah.
He's 13 before the fight. This is before the fight, but he's not gonna shoot up anywhere close to that.
I doubt it. And Sean probably wouldn't even want to take that fight.
No.
But
I think
it was.
I think that kind of fully settles the debate of Dagestani wrestling versus American wrestling to me.
Yeah, I saw everybody was like, American wrestling just can't hang in MMA. Unless you are.
You got to have more.
Yeah, you got to be able to strike like Cormier had American wrestling, but he could strike.
Yeah.
He could stand up with you.
There's level, just like jiu-jitsu, there's levels to wrestling too. Like Bo's wrestling just doesn't seem to translate as good as DC. DC could take anybody down.
Oh yeah.
Bo's not really looking like that type of guy.
No, dude, especially this one. I thought maybe we'll see. I was hurt, injured, whatever, but he was gassed after the first round.
I just don't. That clinch, I don't think he expected that. I think probably in training, he's like, guys clinch him, and he just throws him around. No problem. Takes him down, does whatever. This guy comes in here and clinches, and yes, he took him down, but he got right back up. Well, he let him up, kind of. But then he gets right back in the clinch and is kneeing him again. And the takedowns are starting to get... And he's even trying to do his own little trips and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just getting ate up in there. And he's like, dang, I'm not like getting this guy down like I do everybody else.
Yeah, it just looked like a deer in the headlights, got overwhelmed. And I think Bo's going to be all right. He got rid of the O. And
it was going to happen at some point.
And now he's back to the drawing board. Okay, I got to come and stick to my game plan. And the IQ there it went out the fucking window for some reason.
I'm definitely not. I'm and again, I feel like I always say this type of stuff after somebody loses. It's really not just because of this loss. I think I'm just not high on his like championship aspirations personally.
I think it did get a little to his head, or he was getting inside of his head of I'm gonna ragdoll Kamzat, and from what I'm seeing, it's not. You're getting ragdolled.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think he'll be all right. He'll bounce back. They probably looking at it. Okay, we're gonna give him some guy a little bit lower than him and all that.
Val Woodburn rematch.
Yeah. But yeah, it just looked like there was levels to striking department. You got to get better with that. He'll be back, but like you, John, I think Reiner's making me a believer.
Yeah. Speaking of levels, Corey Sandhagen was on a different one than Fig.
Yeah.
Fig looked. I think it was a mixture of Corey looked really good and was doing whatever he wanted, and Fig looked kind of bad.
Yeah.
He did not look like he really wanted to be there, and then he blew his knee out.
Yeah. Which, according to Corey, was like a planned thing.
He was trying to do that on purpose?
It was like, obviously I wasn't trying to injure him.
Yeah.
But apparently in the when they were, running around, scrambling and everything like that, and their legs, he said they practiced it in camp. Because Figueiredo gets in a lot of scrambles, and his legs, he's okay with his legs being a certain way. And the way he was bending his knee, kind of like Kimura style, but with his leg.
Right.
It was on purpose. Corey said, I was cranking with my own hip and my leg, pushing down on it. Obviously didn't mean to blow his knee out. But
right.
It was like something that we planned that it could work. And it did.
Yeah. Well, and he had him, not only did it blow his knee out, but he had him tangled up and pinned down and was getting ready to ground and pound the shit out of him.
No, he was hitting him with elbows all night.
Yeah. I mean, he busted him up bad there at the end, and he wasn't even really hitting him that hard because he knew something was up. So, yeah, Corey, I mean, I don't know. Fig, I think we're starting to see age catch up, weight cut. I know he moved up a weight class, but he had tough weight cuts for years. I think this might be the decline right here.
Yeah.
I don't, obviously if they shoot him way down, they could probably beat some guys still, but that was not good. Corey, he's got to fight for a belt someday, right?
Maybe. I mean, you'd think just with that division, it's just.
I mean, he's ahead of Umar. I mean, not in the rankings, but I'm saying like next up for a title shot, just because Umar just lost his last fight to Merab.
Yeah.
So it's like,
but
then Jan
called out Umar.
So but that might help Corey maybe. Jan and Umar. We heard 3 weeks ago Jan called out Umar for October. Like a year from now.
Yeah.
Like, so that might work fine for Corey as long as this Merab Sean fight happens and it's
if Sean beats Merab, do they give Merab the rematch? For the trilogy?
I think they have to. I know he literally didn't defend, or he did wait. Yeah, he defended once, Umar.
Yeah.
And I know that's not a lot. Obviously, like if you defend the belt 8 times, then you pretty much always get a rematch. But I think because it's it's 2 big names and it's a trilogy.
True.
I think you have
Does
to
it matter how he loses? Dictates if he gets a rematch.
Probably.
Like if he gets starched.
Yeah, I think that probably. I don't know. That may take it off the table for sure.
And then that gives a chance of Corey. And Sean.
I think. Stylistically, well, I don't know. Corey's getting kind of boring lately, but
he's been using the wrestling and everything,
I think stylistically, you could definitely say that him and Sean is a better matchup than Merab. But again, the trilogy, I think that's hard to pass up.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially as big as their fights have been, it went full 5 rounds.
Yeah, I think as long if Merab wins for sure, I think Corey gets probably the next shot. I'd say, as long as Merab's not hurting himself in between, or taking a year and a half off or something.
Diving into frozen lakes.
Yeah, no more of that. Anything else on that one?
No, it was over. It was a decent card.
Yeah,
fun card. The crowd was popping there. I mean, I didn't know it was sold out, but looked like they were having a good time. So,
decent card. Other events this last weekend, I mean, PFL had their heavyweights and what was it? Light heavyweights. Phil Davis knocks out Rob Wilkinson in the main event on the feet.
Yeah.
Which was, usually Phil Davis is like the most boring person ever. But he knocked him out. And Wilkinson's a former champ over here.
Fucking did his thing, man. It was good for him. I didn't get to watch the fight. I just, saw the highlight and everything. And
he kind of, I was like, I had it on and I was kind of looking back and forth, but the only thing I really remember about it was that he kind of clipped him, and Rob Wilkinson was like, "Hey, come on," and then not even 10 seconds later, he knocks him out. Like it's like,
oh, you asked for it.
Yeah. The co-main, so Valentin Moldavsky, if you watch Bellator back in the day, he was with them for a long time. But the only thing interesting about this, well, first of all, if USADA was over here, these guys wouldn't be fighting.
Yeah,
on this card, both of them. But apparently the power went out during this fight.
Oh, really?
I didn't catch it on the broadcast, but I saw a picture on Instagram of them standing there, and it's completely dark, but you can like barely see them in there, and it's got the ticker on the bottom and everything. So it must have not lasted very long.
Yeah.
But apparently the power went out during this fight.
Gosh.
Antonio Carlos Jr., I mean, he's a former UFC guy way back in the day. He won a split decision. Alexander Romanov, a pretty easy guillotine choke against Tim Johnson. Romanov gains 20 pounds every fight. I mean, he is so fat now.
He just doesn't care, right?
No, and he's always been a big heavyweight, but he used to not have this much like extra skin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he's doing it, but he's doing it. Carl Williams, I mean, he fought in the UFC not too long ago. He lost a split decision. He thought he won, and I don't. Most people thought he lost. I think. Other than that, Rodrigo Nascimento, we saw. Well, you didn't, but
Yeah.
me and a few other people saw him main event a UFC event last year, and then fast forward a year, and he's his first fight of the night in PFL. It's kind of crazy. So he wins a split as well. A lot of splits on this card. Everyone loves the heavyweights, but sometimes you get a lot of that. So, Karate Combat. You saw the Sam Alvey knockout, right?
Yep, I saw that. It was
pretty nasty.
Yeah, it was pretty gross. And I read somewhere that the guy he knocked out, the Tyrone Spong, he was supposed to fight someone in boxing.
Well, he was a former Glory champ, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was supposed to fight
Andrew
Tabiti? Yeah, Usyk.
No. Oh, okay, yeah, I guess he was in 2019.
Yeah, there was talks of him, and he was supposed to fight, and he was talking all the shit like I can knock this guy out, and
that's crazy that they would even book that.
Yeah,
I mean he's a former kickboxer, yeah, and he's boxed, but he's not like a Tyson Fury, Usyk type of guy.
Yeah, it was weird, and they were making fun of both fighters essentially. Saying this guy said he was going to beat one of the greatest fighters or boxers on the planet, and then gets knocked out by a guy who.
I mean, it was like 5 years later, like more than 5 years later. But Sam Alvey's like 4-0 over there, like double champ now, literally.
His thing, dude.
And he looks just as weird in there, looks just as slow, but he's always had power. And Spong, he's been around for a long time. He's a little older. 39. He's probably younger than Alvey, honestly.
And Makayev.
Yeah, okay, 38. Alvey, 39, Spong. Yeah, and then Muhammad Makayev, body kick, like it was like a front kick. It wasn't even like a round kick to the body. TKO win. Balat Zamanbekov, no idea who that is. Makayev wins. I think at this point, the UFC is just going to not let him come back just to do it.
Yeah.
Like, not because he doesn't deserve to be there, just because they just don't want to bring him back.
Yeah, you fucked up and whatever.
So this is the one I didn't watch any of. One Fight Night 31. Where was this at? Bangkok. So we had some Muay Thai fights. I honestly, I don't know Nong O or Kong Thorany. Don't know either of them. I mean, Ty Rotolo retains his grappling title, which my least favorite part about one championship is the grappling matches.
Yeah.
I hate that shit. By the way, rewind real quick. On Karate Combat, Armin Sarukian won a grappling match.
Oh, okay.
He competed in it. Ty Rotolo retains the middleweight belt. Other than that, I'm not super familiar with a lot of these guys on this card.
Yeah, I don't recognize other than those other couple.
And there was only 2, 4, 6, 7 fights.
Really? Small card.
I mean, unless there was a bunch of Muay Thai fights that are like maybe amateur or something. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know, but and then Uriah Faber's A1 Combat. This is a good feeder organization here.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton Talbot came out of here. Not familiar with a lot of these guys, but they had 4 title fights on this card. And so that's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to have any more events after this for a while. But 4 title fights in that one. I watched a little bit of that, and then Ryzen had an event as well. A couple of notable names on here, I believe. Daniel James, remember him? Bellator. We did a old episode on him. Danny Sabatello, he won on the prelims over here. John Dodson lost. I didn't know he was still fighting. He lost unanimous decision.
How old is he now? He's like got to be 40 something, right?
40.
Yeah.
So he fought the same guy on this card as he did the last time he fought in July of 2024, and that was bare knuckle boxing on that one, and he won.
Huh.
So that's interesting. He did fight in BKFC for a little bit there. His brother still does fight in BKFC. Last time I checked. So yeah, there's a couple names that the North American fans would know on that one.
Yeah.
All right, ready for the news?
News.
News team, assemble!
All right, news. So obviously we're an MMA podcast, so we didn't mention the boxing matches this past weekend, but I know Garcia fought, Haney fought, Canelo fought.
Yeah, I think Inoue fought too. The big guy, big name in China.
Yeah,
but it was like, I think his second time fighting in the U.S. and he fought in Vegas, I think, over the weekend.
Okay.
So,
well, speaking of boxing, first news story: Dana, and we know Dana and Turkey Al Sheikh, His Excellency, have been talking about this new promotion they're doing, UFC style, as far as weight classes, all the best guys in one organization. We'll see. But they're starting with, and I guess I don't know if this is actually under that same organization's banner or not, because I don't even know what that's going to be called. But it's official that Dana and Turkey Al Sheikh are promoting Canelo versus Terrence Crawford.
it's big. They needed a big name for it, and they're getting two of the biggest names. This is a fight everybody's been wanting to watch.
Yep.
This is going to be fun. Terrence Crawford is an absolute stud, and then obviously everybody knows Canelo. Like, that guy's a Hall of Famer. It's going to be fun. I mean, I don't know how big or what the age difference is with them, and I think I'm not obviously not that well versed in the boxing world, but I think Terrence might be bigger.
37 for Crawford. 34, man.
Okay. So Terrence is older, but is he the bigger fighter?
5'7.5" for Canelo. Dang it. Cannot type. I bet he's got to be bigger. 5'8". Wow, big difference.
Okay, yeah, yeah. That's this is going to be a fun one. So
according to this post, which is taken from Turkey Al Sheikh's X post, quote: "We will deliver the fight of the century with Riyadh season on September 12th at Las Vegas's Allegiant Stadium."
Wow,
So that's going to hold a lot of people. The legend, he didn't say that part. The legend Canelo defends his Ring Magazine title versus Terrence Crawford. TV platform to be announced soon with big surprise. My brother Dana White will promote his first TKO boxing event with me. It will be something crazy. So it's kind of like typical boxing here. We're defending one belt, but we're doing it on the Ring Magazine belt on the TKO boxing platform.
Yeah,
It's
there's so many different. There's 37 belts per weight class.
Now I know this is the first event, but I thought this was kind of what we were trying to get rid of here. I know it's not as bad as 5-6 belts.
Yeah,
but I thought that's what the point of the TKO boxing, organization.
Yeah, but I think they might be giving it a pass because they're finally inking a big, like, this is it. This is a big fight right here.
And that may have been like hey, I'm not going to do it unless I can. If you're Crawford, unless I can win his belt, from him or whatever, that may have been a sticking point in the negotiations.
I mean, it's going to be the boxing event of the year. That's what it's.
Yeah. Did I already forget the date? Did it say a date?
I think you said September 12th.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be big. It's gonna be big. I mean, that fight is gonna be big.
Yeah.
Everything else.
Yeah, I don't know what else is going to be on the
Yeah.
card. They said big surprise, so
Yeah. I mean, it'll be, I'm sure, big names in boxing, but that I don't know a lot of those big names in boxing really.
Yeah.
So
that'll be exciting.
from one huge fight to probably a bigger one. Michael Chiesa versus Court McGee.
Yeah.
UFC Atlanta, June 14th.
It's weird to me. The Chiesa, obviously, I mean, I think they're both fighters. I think are on their way out. So Chiesa is doing obviously the booth. He was just here, and
This has got to be a winnable one for Chiesa, right? Finally,
you would think, but
crazier things have happened with him. Hasn't he had? I can't remember off the top of my head, but some like super embarrassing ones recently.
I know he got dorsed by Kevin Holland.
Oh, he's won 2 in a row.
Yeah, so he beat
Tony
Ferguson and Max Griffin.
Okay.
So
Yeah, okay. The losses aren't too bad. Holland, Brady, Luque. Luque subbing him was kind of weird, but yeah, I don't know. Court, I like Court. He's tough, durable. He's gonna try, but I'd say Chiesa's got to be a pretty good size favorite in this one.
is this Chiesa's last fight? I could have swore after the Max Griffin fight, he maybe alluded to it, or he thought I still got some in the tank. Maybe one of the other.
Maybe he has. I mean, I know he has like no tie to Atlanta, but they just went to Seattle, where he is from. So there's no way that he can retire there anytime soon. So I don't know. I haven't heard anything about last one yet, but we'll see. If it is, he's getting a video and shit because he works for the UFC.
Yeah.
Any fighters that have done way more, Andre, they don't get anything.
Nothing.
He's gonna get a video. Couple other matchups here. Man, Kurt Holloway is still getting another opportunity against Jordan Levitt. Holloway is isn't he like 2-7 in the UFC combined?
I think so.
That's crazy. And then this one this is rebooked, I think. I think this was supposed to be on maybe this past weekend's card. It's moved to, real quick. The Jordan Levitt, Kurt Holloway one is May 31st, UFC Vegas 107. I know Daniel Santos was supposed to fight a couple weeks ago. And now he's booked against Jung Young Lee, the Korean Tiger, on this coming weekend's Montreal card. So that kind of came together late. That card needed some fights, especially now that we'll talk about one that just fell off yesterday. I like both these guys, so that's gonna be a fun one. Actually,
I think isn't Lee? Did he go down or did he go up for this fight?
Ooh, don't know that.
I think he was a featherweight and going up to.
He's pretty big, so sure, for that weight class, so he surely wasn't going down. Fought Hyder Emil at featherweight,
or maybe I thought
this one's featherweight.
Oh, maybe I read the wrong thing earlier when I was looking at the fight or saw that they announced that one. Could have swore he was going up, or maybe it was Santos that was.
Going up. Santos.
Yeah.
So he was supposed to fight Davey Grant a few weeks ago, April 5th.
He had medical issues.
Yeah, and this is a guy that, he's got a ton of cancellations.
Yeah, holy cancellation.
But this is a guy that I feel like I've heard a lot of people talk about being thinking he's really good. He just never fights.
Yeah.
We see a lot. Joel Alvarez and freaking Mike Davis. There's these guys that everyone thinks is really good. They just don't fight enough. So he's one of them. Jung Young Lee, Hyder Emil smashed him last time. He's got to move that head. Cedric Dumas.
Yeah.
So he has been arrested at the time today, 4 days ago now, in Escambia County, Florida, facing serious charges including home invasion, robbery, possession of a weapon as a felon, possession of a controlled substance, battery, and drug equipment possession. This is his 14th time being arrested in this county since 2014.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah. He was probably done. I would say like 14th time.
Yeah.
It's just so stupid. You have such an opportunity. I'll never understand people that have that opportunity and fuck it up by just being an idiot.
And it sounds like they got him for some. I mean, we'll see. Obviously, they got to prove it, but that sounds like some serious stuff.
Yeah. Probably go away for a little bit.
Yeah. But I would not be surprised if the UFC said, whenever you're out, just come on back and, remember Greg Hardy over here for a while?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, exactly.
You always got a home here. Porker.
Good old Porker.
Parker Porter will headline BKFC Mohegan Sun June 14th. BKFC's kind of... I feel like... I guess you could say the same thing about PFL. I think we have, in fact, said the same thing. At one point, they were like bringing in like some names, some big names. And I think they're kind of like, this is expensive.
Yeah.
And so now they're bringing in like the Parker Porters and like who else has been going? I know they just had Stevens and Eddie Alvarez and stuff, but it seems like they're kind of starting to bring in more like the mid-tier guys, kind of like PFL's doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're like, okay, let's slow down on the money spending maybe or something.
And now I'm assuming this is not against. He'll face Dylan Klecker in the main event. Now, this may be the guy that they're bringing in to try to build a contender for Ben Rothwell.
Okay.
Because Ben, they had him work his way up, and he beat the champ now. I'm assuming, I don't know if they have like the deepest heavyweight division in combat sports, so they probably need a contender to. Mm-hmm. I'm a little surprised they didn't just bring him in for Ben right away.
Yeah, just throw him up, but I don't know. We'll see. Good for you, Porker. Like
I like Porker, but I like Big Ben more.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Speaking of Porkers, DC believes that the BMF title will be dropped if Dustin wins, meaning they'll just get rid of it.
I could see it.
I have no idea if he knows anything about this particular subject or not, or if he's just talking. But yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, really, it shouldn't be a thing. I guess it lived out its, made some money on some big fights.
The weird thing is that when the UFC seemingly didn't have a star problem like people are saying they do now, they brought a belt in to let the stars fight for the belt. Nate, Jorge, who else fought for it?
Gaethje and
Max. So now it's kind of weird to me that they would get rid of this kind of like fake belt that is only there to promote fights when they have a star problem.
Yeah. Maybe they realize that maybe it's harder to do that. I don't know if it's because fighters I don't think they're necessarily looking at it as an actual like belt, but it shouldn't be I'm the BMF belt holder, I have leverage to use. No, you don't. It's not a real belt. It's just a belt we're using to promote the fight even more.
And there's no way that there's not like some clause in their contract that says, okay, yes, if you fight for a title, you get like, those pay-per-view points or whatever. But if you fight for the BMF title, you don't.
Yeah. There's
no way that the UFC hasn't. They're not paying them more for the BMF belt specifically. I don't think.
I don't. Unless I could see it with those bigger names, but maybe. But I think just be done with it.
Yeah.
Especially if Dustin wins, don't just be like, okay, now it's vacant.
Yeah.
You could, I guess, but
I see. I'm kind of two minds here. I mean, I think, personally, it's like I don't really care. Like the fight means literally nothing more.
Yeah.
If that belt's attached to it.
Exactly.
Any fight doesn't matter. But I do think it is like a tool that they could use since when Connor's not fighting and Nate's gone and nobody cares about anybody anymore. Well, here's the casual fans are stupid. So you put that on there. And
like, oh, the BMF belt.
Yeah, and the Rock's in the face-off.
Yeah.
They're going to watch it. So, and then you can build some guy that's like, is maybe popular but not like popular.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I kind of think they should keep it. I don't care about it, but I think it would be a good thing to keep it, honestly. But
Yeah, either way, it's they keep it cool. They don't cool.
like, let's get Yuri in there for it.
Yeah, like
Yuri and like Khalil or something.
could do that.
Now they're probably like, I'd rather fight with the real belt, obviously, but I don't know. So someone, Yuri, someone like that, I think makes a lot of sense for that because he's already had issues.
Yeah, and
winning titles.
The BMF belt. They have to give it. They have to put it with specific fighters.
Yeah, like Bilal, you think?
Yeah, he's not. He shouldn't be fighting for the BMF belt.
Yeah.
Although I think he's not the worst example.
No,
for that.
I mean, ask any other fan, it probably is, but
yeah,
to me, it's not.
I'm not a fan of him, but I don't think I'd put him in necessarily that.
Gosh, Ian Gary's getting there.
Oh, bouncing around and
boring, lame.
I can see that. I don't know. I liked his performance against Prochas.
I mean, I think he did what he should have done.
Yeah,
but it wasn't great.
No, and it wasn't necessarily him. It wasn't the flashy bouncing around kicks, and although he did land a couple head kicks, but which shows a testament to Prochas being tough and everything. But I don't know. I like Ian Gary. I like Prochas. Prochas is going to be around. He just now he knows he's probably got to get going a little bit quicker. So
yeah, the finishes aren't going to just find you.
Yeah,
like they have against worse guys.
Uh-huh.
That's what I mean. This is a whole different topic now that we're on. But I've mentioned like Ian Gary's not just going to like make a mistake.
Yeah.
So okay. Speaking of making mistakes, I guess I don't know. I don't really know the full details here, but Francis Ngannou, this guy can't catch a break really, other than that he's made a lot of money. But
yeah,
everything else seems to go wrong for him. We obviously know about his son passing away. Now he was apparently involved in a motorcycle accident that resulted in the death of a 17-year-old in Cameroon late last month. So I don't know the full details here. I'm kind of reading like a short little statement real quick to see if I.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything like how it happened. Was he on the motorcycle? Did he? He okay? That's a comment saying he collided with a girl.
So I'm guessing now. This is maybe a little bit of a speculation here, but I'm guessing in Cameroon there's a lot of. Probably not even really motorcycles, more like moped type things everywhere. A lot of those countries are like that. I'm assuming he was riding one around.
The traffic laws probably are non-existent.
No, at least not enforced.
Yeah. So
I'm assuming he collided with a girl, and he's going to do some damage if you run into him with your moped. So that sucks.
Yeah,
that sucks. I'm assuming he's not going to be like held.
I don't think
responsible for
I don't think there's going to be any legal action. I don't think, but
and if he is, he's probably fine.
Yeah,
financially. So we had a couple. We'll talk about this one too. We had a few people been released lately. One of them is Brad Tavares.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he win his last fight, or am I making that up?
Tavares. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, didn't he just?
Yeah, beat Gerald.
Yeah. Now it's obviously, as most of you probably know, it's not really has nothing to do with wins or losses. If your contract's up,
yeah, are they
may not want to re-sign you.
Yeah, UFC is probably cutting fat with a lot of these older guys and bringing in the new.
So you talked about this one when wasn't he like 16-12 or something in the UFC or something crazy?
Yeah,
not that it really matters, but was around for a long time. 16-10.
Yeah, 16-10.
So literally 2010, he was on the Ultimate Fighter, 15-year career. Shout out to him. I'm sure he'll be fighting elsewhere.
Yeah,
PFL maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't think he'd be done. I mean, he's got a long career, but
here's the thing: Ray Seppo, who is like the CEO over at PFL, has been in his corner every fight for like ever.
Oh wow!
Like Ray Seppo was like a former kickboxer back in the day. kind of
Yeah.
like a real high level one.
I'd say he's probably going PFL.
So that makes a lot of sense. And then Vince Pichel from Hell,
Yep.
one of the best nicknames of all time. He retires at 42.
82.
I almost said
Can
82.
you imagine?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, he was the oldest active UFC fighter at the time. Decided he was done. Just, I think he just lost.
But it was
his last one.
competitive.
It
wasn't
was a competitive fight. I think it was
but it was against another kind of older dude, I think.
I was just looking at it. I forgot who it was.
Oh, Rafa Garcia.
Yeah.
So not.
I think it was a close fight.
Yeah, I was just saying. I kind of feel like I thought he won at the time.
I think I read people were saying that he arguably could have won it.
Yeah.
I know it was unanimous, but still it was a close fight. But he's 42. He
Another
posted on
ultimate.
Instagram and said, I'm done. Pretty much in short, I'm retiring from MMA.
Yeah.
And he thanked everybody and posted pictures of, early on fights and thanked Dana and Sean Shelby, everything. And
Another Ultimate Fighter guy, and even as the years go on, your likelihood, if you're on the Ultimate Fighter, of even fighting once in the UFC has gotten worse and worse and worse.
Uh-huh.
But even at his point on the Ultimate Fighter, I mean, he fought Cody Pfister, John Kofer, and Chris Saunders. You ever heard any of those guys? They didn't stick around.
no,
He lost to Ali Quinta in the finale, I believe, and maybe not the finale. Regardless, I mean, Al had a little bit of a career, but even still, in 2012, if you're on the Ultimate Fighter, your percentage of getting to the sticking around in the UFC was pretty low.
Yeah,
And he did for a long time. He was,
Yep.
I guarantee, he's the last guy left on that cast in the UFC. So shout out to him. He had a good run.
yeah, hell of a nickname.
Yeah. Former Ryzen champ Tafik Musayev will make his UFC debut at UFC Baku in Azerbaijan. He's from Azerbaijan, so
Okay.
that's obviously why. But I guess I was going to say you don't see a lot of Ryzen guys coming over, but I guess we have lately. I mean, Kai Asakura, Manel Kopp, not so recent, but yeah, this guy, he has a ton of. I put his Tapology on here because he has a ton of finishes. 18 knockouts
Damn,
out of 22 wins. So
Pretty
that's going to be pretty fun. They don't actually have his UFC.
like not on there.
Yeah, it's not on Tapology. That's interesting. Fake news.
It's fake news.
Yeah, I don't know. It says make his debut. Doesn't say against who yet, but now that'd be cool. We got another knockout artist coming in.
Yeah.
Ilya Taporia, I feel like we talk about this every week. He said that he's in camp last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever, and then he's confirmed that he is fighting at UFC 317.
Yeah, and I was just listening to him on Rogan, and he said he's not going to fight a contender.
He's going to fight for the belt.
Yeah, he said he will only fight for the belt.
I think the UFC is having a hard time getting main events going for this stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I bet you they said, "Hey, Islam, here's a bunch of money.
Yeah.
You're going to fight Ilya."
Yeah.
We don't care what it takes.
Yeah.
You're going to do it.
Yeah, and that's going to be a fun one.
Yes.
Like it.
That's International Fight Week, right? Is that 318? Because weren't they trying to get, or was Khamzat and I think they were trying to get Khamzat to fight DDP on this card, but Drickus got hurt, and so I think they were kind of having a hard time finding the main event for this.
Yeah, 318 is Holloway and Poirier, so I don't think that's...
No, yeah, this is Vegas 317. Yep. This is International Fight Week. Which, yeah, you got to have a big main event for that. That's so far that goes pretty hard. Some good ones on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, good. I'm glad that
that's what everybody wants to see.
Yeah, I'm glad that Islam just like I don't feel like fighting. He doesn't deserve it, and everyone's just like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
No,
but he does. I mean, even Rogan came out and was like, you knocked out 2 first ballot Hall of Famers, like back to back.
I am going to be rooting for him probably more than I've rooted for somebody in a while.
Yeah. No, it's going to be a good fight, I think, because Ilya is very well rounded. Although Islam is too,
Yeah, for sure.
and Ilya is definitely. He says he feels so much more powerful, and
Oh yeah,
he's like, if you thought I was, what did he say? He said, if you thought I was knocking people out at 45, he's like, I'm gonna hit somebody at 55, and their head's gonna explode.
and he's so scary because he's dominated guys with grappling too, who grapple.
Yeah,
Bryce,
mm-hmm.
and he knocks out people who like. So I don't know. I almost think he might be the favorite.
Think so? I don't know if he'll be the favorite, but I think it'll be. I'd be surprised what the. I don't think. I mean, Islam's not going to be some heavy favorite. I don't think.
No, he just seems to have like. I mean, yeah, he beats these guys, and he had that He knocked out Volk with a head kick. Okay, that was like just one shot, dead.
Yeah.
Struggled with him the fight before that.
Mm-hmm.
Struggled with Dustin. Couldn't hold him down.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Islam is a much more exciting fighter than like Khabib or some of these guys, but is a much sketchier one.
Yeah. He definitely leaves it open to get hit, and you get. I mean, obviously he got hit by Dustin, and Dustin's got power, but Ilya's got like the touch of God in his hand. So.
And he also I think he's just got a psycho belief right now in himself.
Oh no, the way he's talking on Rogan's like laughing. He's like, when Rogan would bring up a fighter, and Ilya's like, he's not that good, and Rogan would just laugh, and he's like, really, like, why do you think that? And he explain it, and he's like, yeah, the way he fights, like, he shit on Michael Chandler on this. And he's like, Michael Chandler, he's like, he could have won so many fights, but he's stupid. Like, he just said he wanted to be entertaining, which he's like, I do too, but I'm smart about it.
And I think that is what sets him apart, really, is that he just has fight IQ for days.
Yeah. And I don't know, listening to him on Rogan made me more of a fan, and just realized, like, some of these guys just have this absolute, just almost to the point of they are delusional, just belief in themselves, which you probably have to be a champ like he is.
Oh yeah, and he has that O still.
Yeah,
so he's a champ and he's undefeated. That's crazy.
Yeah, his head is in the clouds right now.
Oh yeah. Last couple. So we got two former Bellator champs here, and actually Juan Archuleta was, I think, a former Rising champ as well. Archuleta and Bader both have new homes. Bader, weirdly, goes to Rising, where Archuleta was. Archuleta goes to a new promotion, I think, or maybe they're one of the first couple events. He's fighting for the inaugural Barocca Featherweight Championship, June 21st. I think it's like maybe their third event or something.
Really? Don't
really know anything else about it, but yeah, so Bader's going to Rising where Archuleta used to be. Archuleta's going to Barocca FC, I guess. I don't know. So, I don't know. That's interesting. All right, we ready to talk about UFC 315?
I'm ready.
From Montreal. I guess, man, the UFC was, I'm sure they had it all figured out, but if Montreal would have beat the Capitals in the first round of the playoffs, they would be playing still.
Yeah.
So, they didn't, luckily, but all right. Bottom to top, we're gonna go through these early ones pretty quick, but we just talked about Young Lee and Willie Cat, Daniel Santos. I know Santos is good, but I'm not super familiar with his game. But I'm assuming they're gonna slug it out a little bit. That's gonna be fun. Young Lee clearly is like okay with getting hit.
Yeah.
Hyder Emil hit him, so
yeah. He's just his face is there to be hit. I don't know if they work on head movement over there or not, but I don't know. That'll be a fun one. Two young guys. It looks like what, same record?
Same record. Lee's big.
Yeah.
For that weight class.
He's a
Santos
giant,
is going up.
Mm-hmm.
So Lee might be a little bit more physically imposing in that one. Two guys that fought on the same card in Seattle. Modestas Bukauskas versus Ion Kudalaba. Kudalaba is kind of having a little bit of like a resurgence here. It seems like where he's not fighting as stupid.
Yeah,
he
he's
submitted Ebo Aslan last time in Seattle, and Aslan I think literally had like 13-0 with 13 knockouts or something going into that. Bukowskis, he had a big finish on that card too. I don't know. Interesting. Two guys two vets that can bang it out.
Oh yeah,
that'd be fun.
It'll be crazy. Kudalaba is a psychopath, so
yeah. Navo Sterling, everyone's pretty high on him. 6-0. They got him going against Ivan Erzlan, who actually lost a split decision.
Arguably could have won that
fight. Yeah. Sterling. Everyone's real high on Sterling. I'm not sold yet, but
I think he's got a bright future. He's just so like poised.
Yeah.
In there, it looks like he's just the lights aren't too big. Yeah, he's gigantic.
Ugly as hell.
It's ugly, but he's crisp on the feet. He's patient. He does struggle with the takedowns, but against what was it Tuco Tacos?
Yeah.
He got taken down, but he got right back up and proceeded to win everything on the feet. So
they're going to give him plenty of time.
Yeah,
he's 6-0. They're going to work him up slow. This is a big one for this weight class. Jessica Andrade versus Jasmine Duvicious. That's number, what is it? Like, I think 9 and. Jasmine's 9, Andrade 7.
Okay.
Jasmine's on a win streak right now. She has been, I think she's won like 5 in a row.
Yeah.
4 in a row.
4 in a row.
Last loss, she lost to Tracy. That was a close one too.
Mm-hmm.
Myra Bueno Silva last time just really made Myra not want it.
Yeah, Myra. Yeah, fuck Myra.
But and we've seen Andrade not want it, not want to be there sometimes.
Yeah, we have there for a while, or she went on that little skid and then came back and was looking like her old self, and then I think was her last fight, maybe fight before that. You kind of get the sense like maybe there's a little bit of doubt. And against Natalia Silva, she was getting frustrated.
She's just chasing her around.
Yeah, she couldn't touch her. She's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think I really like Jasmine. I think so Jasmine's minus 300 by the way, which is kind of crazy, but I do think Jasmine's just gonna just get in her face and just do more and make her not want to be there.
Probably, but Andrade, she just a haymaker machine, so
yeah, true.
She might just slug something, close her eyes, and throw something.
I mean, Jasmine, she's got some. She's like, I wrote down a couple things here. Highest control time percentage in women's flyweight history.
Damn.
44%. Third highest top position time, 42 minutes in her 10 UFC fights. She spent 42 minutes on top.
Damn.
Yeah, and then also she spent the least. Was it least? I don't know if it's the least, but she only spent a minute and a half or a minute 50 seconds on the bottom. So
that's pretty good, I'd say.
Yeah. 8th best takedown accuracy, 43%. So we could definitely see her mix it up. Andrade, just work on the gas tank. Probably is what Jazz is going to do there.
Yeah.
Mike Malott.
Speaking of gas tank.
Yeah. He's fighting old Chuck Buffalo, Charles Radke. Malott, I'm just not on board with him anymore.
Yeah. Just after the Neil Magny fight and everything, I don't know. You definitely can, once that gas tank goes, which you see a lot in fighters and stuff, it just kind of goes away. He did the Trevin Giles fight.
Didn't he gas in that one too?
He got tired in that one, but it wasn't nearly as bad as the Magny fight. I think he kind of learned a little bit, but he's probably got to still work on that gas tank. Radke's probably another fight he's probably going to try and get back on track with. Just keep building momentum and confidence back into himself.
I definitely don't think so. Malott, obviously, he's fighting in Canada, so they're going to want him to win. Minus 225. I'm not counting Chuck Buffalo out of this one at all.
I wouldn't either. But I could see why he's the favorite one. He's in Canada, and then I think he on probably out of 10 fights he probably beats Radke 8. I'd say so.
I think skill. Malot's got the skill.
Yeah,
he has that.
Mm-hmm.
He just
we've seen when it comes to a little bit of adversity, he kind of the light starts to flicker.
And I think the gas tank problem has gotten his head a little bit to where he's like, I can't do a ton in here because I'm gonna get tired.
Yeah,
I gotta like limit my output a little bit. But by the way, Mike Malot's brother played for the Kings in this playoff series.
Okay.
He was on.
Yeah, that's right. You've said that.
He was in Winnipeg, the Jets organization, for quite a while, but didn't play any or very few actual NHL games. He got called up by the Kings now and is actually like in the lineup for most games.
Yeah.
They did lose. They blew a 2-0 lead in the series and now they're gone. But my boy, I love this guy. Power Bar, Marc-Andre Barriot and Dylan's boy, Bruno Silva.
Someone's probably going to sleep.
Yeah.
In this fight, I'd say.
I think Bruno sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he had there for a while. He was knocking everybody out. Like he has a ton of knockouts. 20 knockouts.
That's a lot of knockouts.
And 23 wins. He's been submitted 7 times.
Ouch.
So
it's just so crazy for a Brazilian.
Yeah. Now, I guess in that regard, it's like Power Bar's not going to grapple with him. Probably he should. But that's not really what he does.
Yeah.
He's going to probably slug it out with him.
Mm-hmm.
But
someone's going to sleep in that fight, I think.
Yep. Okay, so as of right now, the last prelim, and we got to talk about one that got canceled. Brad Katona, Beksat Almakan. This kid fought Umar.
Yeah.
And dropped him.
Mm-hmm.
But that was like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
That was literally March 2024.
Yeah, it was over a year ago.
Now, I mean, I don't hate the layoff necessarily because he's still pretty young, 27. And just based off memory, he's good.
Yeah. No, he's good. He's fighting a vet and Brad Katona, I just think Katona's one of those guys, a tough dude. Like, you can't ever get him out of there. Like, anybody.
He's not going to get you out of there. You're not going to get him out of there.
He's just like, I'm going to be tough and we're just going to go to decision. Just doesn't really do much. But maybe this kid comes out and, shows him, gives him the bee's knees.
I'm guessing this is going to be another close decision like every Katona fight is. I would love for maybe Beksat. Again, I don't remember that Umar fight specifically. I think he got wrestled quite a bit.
He did.
But that's obviously a little different level. Maybe he works some wrestling against Katona. Katona's going to get up, and he's probably not going to get tired.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm rooting for Beksat all day here. I'm not a big Katona fan. Okay, so before we get to the main card, Joel Alvarez pulls out like yesterday at the time of recording against Benoit Saint Denis. That's like the most disappointing thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it sucks. And I guess it was maybe a broken hand or something. It said hand injury, so.
That was like the whole card, in my opinion, that fight.
That was going to be a fun one.
So, as of right now, there's only 4 fights on the main card. They're obviously going to, that's not going to stay that way. But what fight is going to be put on the main card now?
I'd say they're probably going to throw I could see them because they're in Canada. They throw Mike Malott up there.
I think it's Andrade and Jazz.
Yeah, they could throw that one up there too. I was just about to say. I'd say probably between those two. That's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Or possibly Kudalaba because of his fights, how they usually go.
Yeah.
But I'd say between those two just because you got the Canadian crowd. Let's throw the Canadian on there.
We don't always, a lot of times in this situation, it's not like the best fight gets thrown up there.
Uh-huh.
It's usually like kind of like the middle of the fight. They want a bunch of people tuning in for the prelims, so they're not going to take the best prelim out of there. So I don't know. I don't know. I think just because of rankings alone, I'd say Andrade, Jazz, but we'll see. It's hard to tell. Could be anybody.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I was excited for that one.
Yeah. Okay, so Jose Aldo versus Amin Zahabi. Aldo, Zahabi's I think like 14. Aldo is 11. I think Amin Zahabi, if Aldo has any semblance of speed, power, anything left, like anything, he's gonna beat Amin Zahabi's ass.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Oh yeah, if he comes out the last couple fights, the way he's looked like great. Then I think it's gonna be a rough.
I don't think Amin Zahabi is good at all. I think he's so slow,
Mm-hmm.
and he's real clumsy now. He is on a 5-fight win streak. Draco Rodriguez, Ricky Tercios, Aori Keelang, Javid Basharat, Pedro Munoz.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, there's a decent. Munoz is a good one, but
This is definitely his biggest step up.
100%.
A 40-year-old Aldo.
Again, Zahabi's he's slow, and his defense is just shell.
Mm-hmm.
He's real heavy on his lead leg. I know Aldo. We haven't seen Aldo kicking as much lately, like smashing low kicks into everybody, but Amin's real heavy on that lead leg.
Maybe we'll see it this time.
I think we should. I'm
Yeah.
hoping so. Amin, maybe he can just push him up against the fence the whole fight again. Like, what's his name? But
yeah.
I'm not really seeing it.
Yeah, no, I mean that'll be fun. I think Aldo wins it, takes it.
Yeah. Alexa Grasso, former champ,
I'm a big fan.
fighting future champ Natalia Silva. I think this is another one where speed is going to kill.
Yeah, this one's gonna be fun. I mean, obviously, Grasso's a great boxer. She's tough as nails, but she's coming against a killer, young, hungry fighter in Natalia Silva, who herself is crisp, fast, tough herself, but she's in and out. She's gonna have a lot of speed.
And I think the last two Valentina fights, Alexa looked so slow in there compared to Valentina, who's old.
Yeah.
Like, pretty old for this weight class. I don't think that bodes well. Alexa is a technical striker, boxer, and can obviously snatch your neck up, if, but I think she's just going to be behind in this.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I probably am going to go with Silva on it, even though I love Alexa.
I love Alexa too, but I hope Natalia puts a stamp on it.
Yeah.
And she's literally fighting right before the title fight. She probably is going to win. If she wins, going to get the title shot either way, but I'd love to see her put somebody away and just make it like obvious, like
I'm here.
Next.
I'm the person you call up next.
And they do this a lot, but we got that fight, Valentina, Manon Fiorot, and Andrade Jazz all on the same card.
Yeah.
Obviously, they like to time things out like that, but title fight, Valentina versus Manon Fiorot. Manon Fiorot, another one, hasn't fought in a long time. That Aaron Blanchfield fight, March 2024.
Yeah.
Over a year. Now, obviously, we had to wait for the whole Valentina tough, filming tough with Alexa, then fighting. So it makes sense, but I don't know. I feel like I've never really had a great understanding of Manon Fiorot. So I'm probably not the best person to talk on this one.
Yeah, Fiorot, she's obviously tough. Nasty with the striking. When she punches, she puts meaning behind them in the sense of she's trying to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
But is she going to have the repertoire to stop Valentina's very well-rounded game, which she's shown in, like, especially against the rematch against Alexa? She came out and, dominated at Noche. Just
in like every different area.
Yeah, it didn't matter what it was. She looked faster. She dominated on the ground.
She just Valentina times takedowns so well.
Mm-hmm.
She's not D1 college wrestler, but her timing is insane.
Oh yeah,
this is 64% takedown accuracy, Valentina, which is a crazy number. 93% takedown D, Manon Fiorot.
Yeah, if she can keep Valentina off of her, fight the takedowns, then it's going to be a fun matchup on the feet. Because, I mean, obviously Valentina's a killer on the feet as well. Obviously Valentina's older, but I would. My brain is telling me go with the vet here in the sense of Valentina.
That's what I'm taking.
So, but I think it'd be cool to see Furrow come out. And what if she came out and does her thing and fucks up Valentina?
That'd be crazy. My thing here is like I feel like Valentina is like kind of what I've been saying about Ian Gary a little bit, where she's not going to take risks.
Yeah.
She's going to stay within her game. She's not going to come flying in there throwing to open herself up to getting hammered with a left hand by Furrow. Furrow, even Valentina at this age, I still feel like she's going to be kind of deciding when we're throwing, or at least sticking and moving type of thing. I think Furrow's a little slow. She's big, like she's physically big and strong, but I just kind of think Valentina's going to be a little sharper, a little faster. She's probably going to time them takedowns. Manon might get a little impatient, a little frustrated, and like, all right, I'm going to kill her.
Yeah.
Down you go.
Yeah.
So
that'll be a fun one to watch. That one's you don't get a whole lot of excitement sometimes, or you're excited to watch a female fight, but I think this one's going to be a fun one.
Yeah. All right, main event. My guy, another one of my guys, Bilal Muhammad.
Yeah.
Remember the name.
Terrible nickname.
Versus Jack Della Maddalena. JDM, that's a great nickname, right?
Nah, that was not great either, but
so I don't know. This is you go ahead on this one.
This one is just obviously Bilal the champ. He's going to put a pace on you.
Yep.
That's his thing. That's his forte, is put a pace on you. I am not a Bilal fan at all.
Really?
But the hate he gets, I don't know if it's necessarily warranted. I think he's underrated at striking. A lot of people don't really give him the recognition that he needs or deserves, probably, with the striking. He's a tough dude. He is relentless with the pace and getting a takedown. We saw that with Leon. I mean, he just dismantled him, and just kept pushing the pace where you're absolutely just overwhelmed. Jack is an absolute incredible striker that is one of the few guys that goes to the body all the time.
Yep.
That may be a thing. Now, I don't know if he's going to punish Bilal in the sense of slow him down with some of that. His takedown defense, I think, Jack is, he's fairly good. He's been taken down, but he's been really good at getting back up.
Yeah. 70% D, but yeah, he's got a good get up game.
Yeah. He gets up pretty well. He was losing against Gilbert Burns.
Yeah.
He was losing against him, and then until he landed that knee and put away Gilbert. But I think the way Jack wins this fight is if he weathers the storm in the sense of Bilal's unrelenting pace and connects with him by digging to the body, and pieces him up on the feet, because I think he is a better striker than Bilal.
100%.
Yeah. But Bilal uses that pace and the toughness to get in there and take you down that it can really suffocate you.
I think Jack's going to get drowned here.
Yeah. That's the only thing I see this is if he connects with Bilal, hurts him, and gains respect, and that slows it slows Bilal down a little bit. In a sense, okay, this guy hurts when he punches. I can't just, smother him.
I think he's going to rip to the body for sure, because even if Bilal is going to be clinching a lot and shooting and stuff, well, okay, if you punch to the body and he ducks his head, you can clip his head then.
Oh, yeah.
So he's going to be definitely doing that, I think. But I think the only thing that could go wrong here for Bilal is if he decides he wants to prove that he can strike with him.
Yeah.
He may be able to, because he got knocked out that one time by Luque real bad, but aside from that, like he's like actually really hard to hit clean.
Yeah.
Like even when he is striking with guys, now you could say, well, it's because they're worried about the wrestling coming, so maybe that is a factor. But I think he maybe could hang with him on the feet to for a certain period of time. But I just think it's going to be just smother, down.
Yeah, we're going to see if Jack brings his cardio here, which we've seen in fights. He's done pretty well, other than I think the Basil fight. Yeah, that one was, they were, both exhausted.
Yeah.
And he arguably could have lost that fight,
Yeah.
So, but I think I'm gonna go with Bilal here, even though I don't necessarily want him to win.
Yeah.
I'm just not a huge fan of him. What does that say? He's a moderate favorite.
-260.
-260.
That's right to me. Like,
yeah.
That's kind of exactly what I would expect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jack's way of winning is he's gonna have to knock out
him.
Yeah, he's gonna have to catch him with something, like you said, dig into the body with an uppercut. Catches him that way, or I don't know.
He's definitely a really sharp striker.
Yeah,
like really, and not like he's not like a big hitter, but he's just he just touches you like just crisp.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have to catch him. Other than that, then if he can't, he's not gonna point win against Bilal unless he does hurt him and causes him to back up.
And the longer it goes, I think that just gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see whether or not JDM can swim in the deep end.
Yeah. I'm not counting him out by any means. This may be like, rise of the occasion type of situation here, but
yeah.
Well, so I guess the only other thing on this card is that it's been kind of hit hard with just losing some fights. They're down to 11 fights now. Obviously, we talked about the Joel Alvarez, Benoit Saint Denis one. Gilbert Burns and Michael Morales was supposed to be on. It was actually supposed to be on the Miami card. I'm pretty sure 314. Then this, and now it's moved.
Just keeps getting rescheduled.
That's like next week or something, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
May 17th. Yep. Yeah, and then again Alvarez and Gavin Tucker was supposed to fight the Korean Tiger. He's off. Anything else on any of this stuff?
No, I think it'll be a fun card. Sucks, like I know we've said 100 times, but that Joel Alvarez pulled out. Sucks that he got hurt. Said hand injury. I'm assuming it's probably something pretty serious that you can't really fight on a week's notice,
right?
Or a week after you hit it or something. So, it'll be fun. We'll see some guys here, young guys coming up fighting vets. We'll see if they can hang, and I think Canada's usually had some pretty good crowds there, so it's a pretty good card.
Last thing I'll say is that we've seen a couple times where the Canadian fighters do horrible.
Yeah.
In Canada, like they all lose, or like most of them, or whatever. I think this one's set up a little better. First of all, not every fight has a Canadian in it. Second of all, I think they got some really good matchups for the Canadian guys here. I think the worst one is probably Eamon Zahavi.
Yeah.
That's probably like the worst matchup, I'd say, for the Canadian. But all right.
Yeah, it'll be a fun one. I'm excited to watch.
Okay, so last thing here. Got a couple events to just mention if UFC 315 is not enough for you. PFL MENA, we've talked about. We mentioned this on the news at one point. Their first event is on Friday. If you don't know PFL MENA, they're doing the same tournament format with all the same weight classes, as far as I know, but it's all Middle Eastern fighters from the Middle East. I don't know any of them on this card, but it's the featherweights and the lightweights. Guys with some good records, 10-2 versus 12-1 in the main event. I'd say there'll be some good fights. A lot of times, guys that are like kind of like a tier below the top guys make mistakes. Yeah. Therefore, they get finished.
Yeah.
So I think we'll probably see a lot of that on this card. Featherweights and lightweights, good weight classes. Samurai MMA 14 in Montreal as well.
Okay.
Vacant lightweight title at the top. Michael Dufort, he was like 1-1 or 2-2 in PFL at one point. He has some wins on his record, some good ones. Wins over Mads Burnell, Joe Giannetti, who was on tough, and Violent Bob Ross.
Really?
He's beat those guys. He's fighting Samuel Diaz for the vacant lightweight title. And then only other thing on this card I want to mention is this Tommy Morrison guy. I've seen him a couple times on these Samurai MMA cards. He's 8-0. He's like 26, I think. He's a flyweight champ over there. A lot of decisions.
He looks
7 decisions.
Yeah.
But he's 8-0. He's the type of guy that I think the UFC may want to bring on the Contender Series next season or something.
I'm sure we'll end up seeing, especially get to win.
He's defending his belt against 9-4-1 Christopher Daniel. And then moving to, this is also on Friday, LFA. We talk about it all the time. They just keep on going. No title fights on this card, but in the main event, Chris Makate versus Javier Reyes. Honestly, not super familiar with anybody else on this card. But LFA puts on a good show. I like LFA.
Yeah.
ACA 186 out in Russia. This is an internet stream, by the way. PFL Mina on DAZN. Samurai MMA 14, UFC Fight Pass. LFA 208, UFC Fight Pass. ACA 186, internet stream. Not sure exactly how to watch it. If you don't speak Russian, you're probably not going to know what they're saying on the broadcast anyways. But this card actually, first of all, these guys always have insane records on these ACA cards. Second of all, there's a couple UFC vets on here. Hakron Diaz was in the UFC way back in the day, 2010 to 2017.
Wow.
2-5, 3-5.
Lost to the Cub.
Yeah,
Andre, Jared Gordon.
Fought the likes of, where are we starting here? Nick Lentz, Ricardo Lamas, Darren Elkins, Cub Swanson, Andre Fili, Jared Gordon. Yeah, now fighting over at ACA. It doesn't look like it's been going too good for him over there. He's lost 4 in a row. It seems like they bring in these old Brazilian UFC vets to get killed over here. Diego Brandao, he went over here and lost 6 in a row. Another UFC vet, Maxim Grishin. I actually kind of liked him in the UFC. He didn't have a great run. 2-3, 4-0-2 in PFL. I guess I missed that. But he was like a tweener. He was like a small heavyweight or like a hard time making 205.
Yeah,
he was right in between. God, thank God he beat William Knight in the UFC. Luckily, losses to Marcin Tybura, Dustin Jacoby, Felipe Leans, all decisions. So he's back home in Russia fighting for ACA. And then last one on here, I believe there's one more. Tractor Perzeres. If you've been watching the UFC for a while, you may remember this guy. He was like the shortest. What weight class? He's 5'6". I think he was like an 85er or something. Welterweight. 5'6" welterweight. Has a split decision win over our guy Zach Cummings in the UFC. Beat Mads Burnell, aforementioned Mads Burnell. Beat Josh Bergman. Beat Gilbert Burns. Lost to Shavkat. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All that in the UFC, though.
Wow.
So he had a decent little run there. I think maybe he definitely had some weight cut issues. I'm not even going to say that because I don't know if that's true. I was going to say PEDs, but I don't actually know if that's the case. So yeah, and that's another older Brazilian that they're probably trying to get all their guys to beat. So yeah. ACA. Last but not least, KSW 106 is also like an internet pay-per-view thing. It's in France. And this thing's only got 8 fights, and the main event was supposed to be Saladin Parnasse versus Marcin Held. Now, Marcin Held had a short UFC stint and also had a Bellator stint for quite a while. Mm-hmm. So he's kind of like a notable guy. He's out. So now it's Parnasse versus Marian Ziolkowski. And this will be Parnasse's 3rd title defense, so he's kind of kind of got on a little run here. Don't know anything about any of the other guys, but KSW is a good organization. So that's a pay-per-view event on Saturday. And that's it. So yeah, got a couple other options if you're if the UFC is not enough for you. But anything else to say about any of this?
No, I'm excited. Obviously, we got some good fights coming up. You know, disappointing. The big one we wanted to watch, but we got some good fights here in the next, in the UFC in the next few months here that are gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm excited for it.
Plus, we have 2 pay-per-views in the month of June. June 7th and June 28th. 316 and 317. Which is kind of weird.
It is.
It's usually once a month. I'm assuming they just every 4th a week or something, so the timing just worked out weird, I guess. But yeah, two in the month of June, so that's fun.
Yep, it's gonna be good times.
Yep. All right. All of our social stuff is in the description below. Go follow that, and our personal socials are in there and stuff. So, let us know what you think about anything we talked about today. Give us your picks for this Canadian card. Tell us why you're still upset about Alvarez versus Saint Denis not happening like we are, and we will definitely see you next time.
Peace.
Later.